And this is Robert reporting for Republic Rising again, and the purge is beginning, so it seems. Alex Jones is being banned across numerous social media platforms and Spotify and Facebook and all that, all because he dares to counteract the liberal narrative. And now, regardless of what you think of this guy, whether you think he espouses nothing but conspiracy theories that are lies, or if you listen to him every single day and you think he's telling the truth, you should be concerned about this ban. And it's kind of like I mentioned in a video prior, that by banning Alex Jones, they are setting a very dangerous precedent. And that precedent is, if we don't agree with your opinion on whatever the issue we determine we want to listen to at the time, we can ban you and take you off. Now, let's see. There's a couple of things I pulled up I wanted to show right quick to kind of surmise this idea that banning Alex Jones and Infowars, regardless of what you think of him, is horrible, is something that is against our standards of free speech in this country, and just goes against every logical thought that you can have of wanting a true and diverse place of ideas. Now, the left claim to be the tolerant liberals, the people who are willing to hear other people out, yet they're not willing to hear you out if you don't agree with them. These are the most unpatriotic, un-American a-holes ever, and it's getting Orwellian at this point. It is getting to the point where it's 1984. So the first article I'll show you right quick was the one that Alex has brought up a handful of times, and for some reason my headers are not working on the internet. But it's a Forbes article, obviously. There's the website. There's the moron who wrote it. And why YouTube's Infowars ban is meaningless. And now this was written a little bit ago. Do I got the date? Yeah, on the 26th. But this one's got some decent information in it that kind of helps show why this happened. And basically she's almost crying in this article that's basically saying that Alex Jones has had more than enough chances. He should be taken off. This has gone too far. I think he needs to be taken off. Basically is what she's trying to say, but in a very, a non-biased way she tries to come across, but it doesn't really work. So the videos effectively that he's getting in trouble for start pretty much right here. Come on. Who cares? Nothing ever works the way I want it to. Okay. So, and I guess, yeah, we'll do this. Okay. So, in one titled, How to Prevent Liberalism, a public service announcement, a man pushes a child to the ground. Alright, and now that part is very important because when this article was initially written, the reason why this was getting so much backlash to it is right here where she had to update it. Notice how she had to put it in there at the end. The original version of the story named Alex Jones as the man pushing the child to the ground. In fact, Jones merely comments enthusiastically. Notice how she had to get that little extra part in right there. He comments enthusiastically. Like it was such a great thing. Even though, in my personal opinion, we've all seen the video, I do think that kid should have gotten thrown to the ground. And he's lucky worse didn't happen to him. Because if you look at the context of what was going on within that situation, that kid was out keying cars, had a mouth worse than the sailors you would find in the deep of the ocean, and he was trying to punch adults, and there was not one thing that kid was doing that was socially acceptable. I would have shoved him down far sooner than that guy did. He showed far more restraint than I would have, personally. Kids like that need to get a good pop every now and then. They need to learn their place. It's kids like that who are growing up told that everything is theirs, they can have anything they want, and they're always the champion, and anyone who says anything ill against you, well, that is their problem, not yours. No, well, sometimes the problem is you, alright? So that was the main controversy that was coming out, that this Forbes article, and a lot of people, well, not a lot of people on the internet, because most people have brains, but the mainstream media was pushing out there. It shows that no one is more misrepresented on the internet, in my opinion, than Alex Jones. That guy gets lied about more than anyone else I've ever seen on the internet. And that is right now even including Donald Trump, which the mainstream media couldn't tell the truth about that guy if... I mean, you can give them whatever the hell they want. You can give them their Valhalla, the 72 virgins up in heaven and all that stuff, and they still wouldn't tell the truth. But let's see. Let's go back up to this. Because it was basically, there was about 3 or 4 videos that got this ban to kick in and all that they're trying to get him off. And so that was the public service announcement, which I saw no issue with. Oh, God damn it. There. Alright. Another Jones rails against a kid's cartoon that shows boys dressed as glamorous women. Because it wasn't just boys dressed as glamorous women. It was children, like 8 and 9-year-olds, dressed sexually provocatively and sticking money down grown men's pants. It was disgusting, it was perverted, and that should have been taken off the internet. This is, once again, they will do whatever they can to just lie about this guy. And look how even she writes it. Jones rails against a kid's cartoon that shows boys dressed as glamorous women. And that might also be talking about that little pedophile cartoon crap that's coming out where every single one of the actors is either a girl that dresses like a guy or a guy that dresses like a girl. This is how they're trying to fuck our children's minds, and this is how they do it. They're trying to even disassociate to where they don't even know if they're male or female. It is disgusting. It is sick. These people have terrible issues with them, and is it any wonder that ever since Trump got into office, and this is the only area where I'd say Jeff Sessions is knocking it out of the ballpark, but is it any wonder that all those people who are railing against Trump, it's now basically coming out that they're all pedophiles and womenizers and all that, to the worst degree you could imagine. And not just, oh, they had a bad date with a girl one time, like Aziz Ansari or something like that, which I'm even starting to get a little shaky on him. He could be funny at times, but he's a useful idiot. The Democrats are using him real well. But it shows they're just trying to confuse everyone and make any absolute truths be fuzzy and murky, so that way you can literally do whatever you want and get away with it, because then there's going to be no morality about it, because there is no right, there is no wrong, so nothing you could do is bad. And that is where they're trying to lead it. And then let's go to the third one. Blah, blah, blah. The third one apparently shows... Come on, you frickin' phone. You're supposed to be a smartphone. Third one apparently shows how Islam has already conquered Europe. News to those of us that live here, but hey. Okay. Yeah, so you guys still aren't having, Islamist acid attacks happening in London all the time. You guys don't have Muslim no-go zones all over Europe, especially thanks to Sadiq Khan. And do you really love living in a country where your mayor there in London says, well, let's see if I can get the exact words. Terror is just part and parcel of living in a major city. So in other words, if you want to live somewhere that has a lot of other people, get used to the fact that some of them are going to try to kill you just because of how you dressed, or just because of your sexual orientation, or because of your religion. Just get used to it. And where is all that hate coming from? You don't see Christians going around throwing acid on people's faces. No. You don't see Muslims, or you don't see Christians jumping into Ryder trucks and all that and driving down congested sidewalks and all that, trying to hit as many people as possible. No. Do you see the Buddhists doing that? Nah, it must be the Jews that everyone hates, right? Nah. damn it, almost as if it is a singular group that carries out specific types of attacks. Curious. How many Christian groups have gone to concerts and blown themselves up in order to maim and kill children? Must be those Mormons, right? Yeah, those Mormons that get out of Utah and they start doing that crap. And see, it's all they can do is they hope that you would just, at most, just read these headlines and then assume everything about Alex Jones. And there's one more which they go on to talk about. Let's see. And the fourth, for some reason, has been removed from the Infowars Facebook page. Is titled, French President Macron pretends crime rates and migrants are not correlated, when they obviously are. The crime rate in Europe has drastically skyrocketed since they started this mass migration, and anyone who tries to tell you otherwise is just lying to your face. That is all they are doing, pointing. That's it. That's it. They're just lying to you. The migrants are bringing in enormous amounts of crime, rape, murder, assault, acid attacks. They're bringing that in. It's not the home population. It's not the Germans doing that to the Germans. It's not the Swedes raping the Swedes. Alright? This is the third. It's this third world individuals who don't know how to live in the first world. Just as the first, you try to take some first world people and shove them out there in the third world, they wouldn't do too well over there. Now, I doubt they would go around starting killing everyone because they're not doing shit that they want them to do. But it's, some cultures don't mix, and Islam doesn't mix with the West. Case in point. Bam. It's, name me one time Islam has successfully merged with the West. It can't, and it hasn't. Now, Muslims can peacefully cohabitate in a Western society. Yes, Islam can't. You've got to understand the difference. And I'm not going to break down the difference in this video because that's not what this video is about, but there is a major difference. So, for most people, I'm sure when they're reading stuff like that or they hear about Alex Jones, one thing that they've probably never ever done is go on to YouTube or go on to Infowars.com and see what the guy actually says himself. So we're going to quickly go over his page and let's see what he talks about that YouTube hates so much, that Apple hates so much, that Google, that Spotify don't want you to hear because it is so hateful. Let's find out. Here's Infowars.com. And see, they got an article right away. Let's see what this one says. The real reason behind the Apple, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube ban of Infowars. And this is by Paul Joseph Watson, who I highly recommend going onto YouTube while you still have a chance in watching anything of his. He's one of the main reasons that they wanted to ban YouTube is because he is good at getting to the younger generation, especially the millennials, and getting them away from this socialist democrat bullshit and pulling them to the right. He is brilliant at it, terrific at it. Highly recommend anything from him. And let's see, so a statement from Alex Jones. The EU is already fining Google and others if they don't start censoring speech by calling it hate speech and or fake news. When our government doesn't start fining them for violations of free speech, racketeering, and trust monopolistic behavior that encourages other governments like China and the EU have influence over the free market of ideas. But this situation also highlights the trust set up by multinational combines based in China, and the reason he brings that part up, and that's important, the China right there, because Apple is now centered in China. All Apple's rules and regulations are now based out of Chinese models, and obviously China couldn't have anything close to resembling free speech. So that's a huge part of it right there. That's the threat people don't talk about when they want to talk about, oh, Russia's trying to do shit to us. No, it's China that's fucking with us. They're the ones meddling in our elections. They're the one taking all the rare earth minerals. They're the ones stealing our you can't even say stealing, but they're stealing our intellectual property for the most part right there. China is horrible with how they handle here in the U.S. And now, I remember this. Over 2.5 years ago, Matt Drudge came to our studio and warned of the attack on the First Amendment. Highly recommend clicking that and watching that video. That was powerful when Drudge he literally just randomly stopped by the Infowars set and It was like 45 minutes or so they just talked, and that was a fantastic interview. Highly recommend watching that. Yeah, but this goes on and on and on, and it's I would love to read it all, but it's written by Paul Joseph Watson. Check him out. That only says 1 million. He's got so many more than that. They throttle him huge. But basically, yeah, here we go. So the ban is a part of a water censorship purge that also uses stealth censorship, channel banning, algorithmic manipulation to hide and bury conservative content. For me, that's one of the largest ones right there, the reason they're doing this. It also sets the precedent that a mere charge alone of having committed hate speech with no specific examples even provided is enough to memory hold an individual's group or digital presence. That's huge right there. He's so precise on this stuff. It's incredible. With the Infowars ban, Apple, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube have now ascribed themselves to the power to remove people and outlets from their platforms based on their political opinions. That was the plan the whole time. The power will be abused time and time again, and to meddle in elections. Infowars is widely credited with having played a key role in electing Donald Trump. By banning Infowars, Big Tech is engaging in election meddling 3 months prior to crucial midterms. And that's huge, too. And it's because alternative media is becoming such a huge platform for conservative voices, or even just independent voices. They're doing everything they can to say everything that any right-leaning individual espouses is hate speech. It's either xenophobic, it's racist, or it's homophobic, whatever the acronyms they want to throw onto it and all that stuff. All their little chest of verbiage that they want to toss out there. It's all bullshit. Let's see. So let's go back to Infowars. And let's look at some of the other info that isn't talking about their censorship that shows you why they want to actually censor them. Alright. And so obviously, by going on to YouTube, what I highly recommend doing, watch his radio show. So that way you get his words and not somebody else's. Alright, so Stelter mocks Trump for praising Infowars and all that. Oh, because CNN's going to love this. Cause this is going to be a big scalp for them. They think that... I'd be surprised if CNN still exists after the Trump election, and it's not because Trump bans them or anything, but CNN's ratings are so far in a shithole, they don't even really exist, and if it wasn't for the contracts they had to force CNN into airports and hotels and all that stuff, they wouldn't have an audience. So let's see here. 75 shot in Chicago over the weekend, but please tell me how gun control is going to stop that. Jim Acosta whines like a baby in epic political cartoon. That guy is a tool in and of itself. Yeah, here's another good one. Facebook bans Infowars, but keeps Antifa and Louis Farrakhan. Louis Farrakhan is a man who on numerous occasions said Hitler is a great guy. Hitler's a great guy. And he's still on there, and basically he says the Jews are the issues of everything, and you want to hear some anti-Semitic speech, just go listen to Louis Farrakhan. I mean, Jesus Christ. Neocons demand crushing sanctions on Russia. And see, Rand Paul says it's a mistake not to have dialogue with Moscow. I completely agree with that. Candace Owens swaps white for Jewish in the Sarah Jeong tweet and gets suspended. Yeah, that was hysterical. All she did was she took the little New York Times editor, what is her name, Sarah Jeong's speeches, and here's what she did. She switched white for Jewish. Look how horrible this sounds. Jewish people are bullshit, like dogs pissing on fire hydrants. Cancel Jewish people. Are Jewish people genetically disposed to burn in the sun faster? Or burn faster in the sun? I simply swapped out the word white for Jewish. So, Ms. Jeong can say white people are bullshit, like dogs pissing on fire hydrants. Cancel white people. Are white people genetically disposed to burn faster in the sun? So she can say all that shit, and it's just fine. But Candace Owens just swips it for someone else, but because she's right-leaning, she is now a conservative, she is now banned from the internet. She is now suspended from Twitter. Let's see, Antifa thugs punch a counter-protester and smash a Marine's office. Yeah, because those people are... There's no logic in what they do. Let's see, so I mean, show me inflammatory information that's on here. You can't. Globalist grip weakens in Europe as Merkel and Macron tank in the polls. It's because Macron, the people in France are getting pissed off with him because of the immigration wave and him saying that he wants to bring in 200 million more in the next 30 years. French don't want that. They won't be France anymore. Let's see. Oh yeah, they asked the question, is it a false flag in Venezuela with this drone attack on Maduro? Because if you watch the video, it does lead to some questions that probably need to be asked. And can you really trust Maduro anyways? Let's see, I mean, so there's nothing on here. Yeah, Rob Reiner calling for a civil war, but that's fine, you know. Infowars behind the lines. Ex-Bill Clinton spokesman. We never had a president incapable of telling the truth. Yeah, ironic that guy says that. Alright, so I just wanted to go over that and just kind of shed light on this issue, because I'm sure most of y'all have never even been to Infowars.com that hate Alex Jones so much. So literally, go onto that website and check out the articles yourself. And he leaves the comment section open, so comment on all the articles if you think he's espousing crap. And I think what you're going to find once you start reading that website and listening to what he says, there's not much that he, I would say, lies about. And I don't even know if I've seen any lies come from Alex Jones. Now, I've disagreed with certain interpretations of stuff that he said, or I've disagreed with maybe tactics, but Alex Jones is not who this racist that the media tries to build up that he is. That he is this so far-right conservative alt-right figure that it can't be, it's not even someone that you want to get into a discourse with. So, because you notice how the mainstream media will never pull him onto their shows anymore after what he did to Piers Morgan and ended his CNN career, that they can't handle him. It's because he is, like Donald Trump, a true American who isn't trying to play politics. And that is why his numbers are so huge, is because he is an authentic individual who is just, you literally see him break down the information live on air and give his opinion from there. Now, his opinion tends to be more educated than most because he's read a lot more than people and he's been in this world far longer than most people. But regardless of, once again, your stance on him, you agree with him or not, banning him is anti-American. Because it's, like I said in a video prior, I believe, I wouldn't even ban the speech of Robert Spencer, and I hope I'm getting the name right, because I don't even follow this guy, but the admitted Nazi, the admitted white supremacist, white nationalist Nazi. That person, I would not even consider taking him off YouTube, taking his podcasts away or anything like that. Or even if he has a building down in whatever state he's in and all that, you can have it. Because I believe once you start espousing those ideas into the free marketplace of thought and ideas, they can easily be destroyed. Easily. Like, I believe I could take down any true Nazi's arguments. I could put them to shame within minutes. That is how much I believe in my philosophies and my ideas, and how much I abhor theirs, that I could destroy theirs from the inside out. And that is why I would never ban them, because I would want that discourse out there, so that way people have both sides, and that logically they will then, in my opinion, sway to my side and not the racist side, because they heard the logic and they saw the viewpoints. So, I'll wrap this one up. Went on a little bit longer than I thought, but this is a big issue. Regardless of what you think of him, banning Alex Jones is a horrible thing. Horrible thing. We should not be doing this in America. This is China-esque. This is Orwellian, and we need to get away from this. So, yeah, I'll end it right there. This is Robert reporting with Republic Rising again. And remember, man, even though it'll get you banned, conservatism is the new counterculture. We will rise again. Even with all this banning going on, we will rise like a phoenix out of the ashes. We will not be held down. We will win. MAGA.